thank you for having us today. I'm excited to talk a little bit about Community Financial Credit Union with everyone. Um, my name is Kaylee. I'm one of the talent acquisition specialists here. I've been with CFCU since January of this year. So it's nice to virtually meet all of you. And then I have my colleague here as well. Let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name's Julie D'Amico. I am a talent acquisition specialist here as well. I joined the credit union most recently 6.5 years ago. And so happy to meet you all. And Kaylee and I would love to be a resource for you, not only today, but in the future as well. So
Awesome. Yeah, so we are kind of just going to go over a little bit about who we are, what we do, opportunities that we have here, and some of the things that we have to offer. So if anybody has any questions throughout the presentation, just feel free to unmute yourself or drop it in the chat, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. All right.
awesome. All right. So who are we? We are Community Financial Credit Union, most recently being known as CFCU. We are a full service financial institution. We've been in business for over 70 years. So real solid institution here in Michigan. And only moving forward and getting bigger. So, when we talk about a full service financial institution, we talk about everything from your standard everyday banking to loans to anything you can think of that we could, but investments, insurance, things like that we can help you with in order to grow your financial well-being. We are a not-for-profit organization. What that means is any financials that Community Financial pulls in above our operating costs get put back to our members and our team members and into the communities that we serve as well. So really great business to be a part of, and an amazing company to be a part of. In total, well, we'll get to the branches in a second, but our membership, like I mentioned, is at this point in Michigan. So we are open to anyone who resides in, works in, attends school, or workshops within the state of Michigan. On top of that, there is kind of what I like to call a loophole. So any membership is also available for businesses and other legal entities who regularly conduct business in Michigan. Also available to immediate family members of anybody who lives in our eligible communities or in Michigan as well. So really expanding that membership outside of the state of Michigan as well. So like I mentioned, we've been in business for over 70 years, and we have most recently grown to 14 branches in total. Can move ahead. So our locations, our headquarters is in downtown Plymouth. So right there in the heart of downtown Plymouth, great location. That's where our headquarters is at. We do have our main branch there in Plymouth, which does house our investments and insurance team, as well as our mortgage servicing department. And then our branch staff, as well as those of us who do typically work remote, like Haley and myself. There's a lot of opportunity for us to be able to go into Plymouth, work out of the Plymouth branch, see our fellow team members, and have a little fun while we're at it. So we also have 2 branches in Canton. We have 2 branches in Livonia, which includes our newest branch, which we call the Playground. The reason we call this branch the Playground, not because it has playground equipment for you to come in and play on, or bring the kids on, or nieces and nephews or whatnot, but it's a new concept to Community Financial. We are calling it a technology first, member-centric branch. What that means, most of our branches are, normal kind of banks, quote unquote, where you would walk in, you go up to the teller line, do your cash transactions, get your receipt, head out the door. This is all electronically based. So you walk into the branch, there's not a typical teller line. We have member experience specialists there to help you. Everything they do, most everything they do, I should say, is via technology. So tablet, you might want to bring in your mobile phone, learn about our apps, do your ATM banking there, and then also get that one-on-one personalized attention when it comes to questions regarding our accounts and our loans and things like that. So those are our 2 branches in Livonia. In Novi, we also have 2 locations. So one of them is a standard branch. The other location is also another remote work office. It has a wonderful new recording studio there that we use to do commercials. We also use it to record team member communication recordings and videos and things like that as well. Another opportunity too for some of our remote team to come into Novi to do some of their work as well. Then our other branches we have here in Southern Michigan are Northville, Wixom, and Westland. We do have 5 branches in Northern Michigan. So if anybody is familiar with the Gaylord, Lewiston, Hillman, Atlanta areas, I never was until I came to work here at Community Financial. And I'm super glad that I do know of those locations now, because it's really great up north, fun place to visit if you haven't. So yep. Okay. I also did want to mention too, we can stay here on this side, but we are opening a branch on the Wayne State University campus as well. So that's kind of a really fun, unique place for us to be too. So again, really expanding our footprint as we grow as CFCU. Okay, the fun part, our values. So our values are a little non-traditional and I absolutely love them. So we can talk about each one here. As you see, Kaylee and I are both sporting our Zoom backgrounds with some of our values. One being relentless care. This is something that is near and dear to my heart, you know, all of them, but this one really, that relentless care, going above and beyond, not only for our members, but for each other as team members as well. So really caring, putting that heart and soul into the connections that we make here with our members and our team members as well. Really making it a great place to work and a really great place to do your banking at. We create belonging, as you see behind Kaylee. That again, we not only have these values pertaining to our external members, but as our internal team members as well. So creating belonging, that means anybody, you know, from any background and any location, we are here for each other. We're a team, whether, like I said, you're a member or a team member, we want you to be a part of our CFCU family. So really creating that belonging. Hustle and grind. So sometimes I think this might scare people. This doesn't mean that we are all here working like mad people and racing around like chickens with no heads, you know, trying to get everything done as quick as we can. This is the hustle and grind put behind the heart and soul of our organization and of our team, really bringing our best selves to work every day. You know, when you're in a branch and you're working for our members, when you're behind the scenes, like me and Kaylee, working for our team, you know, either way, we're hustling and grinding with our heart and soul to bring our best selves to work every day. Huzzah. This is a fun term, meaning like hooray, like congrats, let's celebrate, huzzah. It's our celebratory term. You know, anything can be celebratory, from our small wins to our big wins to even our failures, because what do we call our failures is our first attempt in learning, right? So you're not going to grow if you don't fail from time to time, and that's okay. We embrace it. It's definitely part of our huzzah culture and the way we think. So that's a really fun one. And finally, give a damn, right? Just give a damn. We care. We give a damn about each other, our job, our members, and our institution and our company as a whole. Everybody in this company, like I said, we're a family. We work towards the greater good of the organization and the communities that we serve, and we all really just do care. So we had to put that as part of our values as well.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's great, right? It was kind of like came out of the woodwork, like, "Whoa, can you
Yeah.
say that?" But yeah, it's a good one. Does anybody have any questions or comments about our values, locations, anything you've heard so far?
Okay.
All
I will
right.
take silence as
Yes,
no.
Yes.
I
Thank you.
do have a question. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I do have a question. I was trying to unmute myself. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I live in the close to the Atlanta area, and I understand there was a experiential specialist position. I was very excited about. I actually had a telephone interview with it, so it was a third step of the hiring process. Then I was told the next day that it was, I guess, eliminated. The human resource party that I spoke with, I guess she just found out that day, and it was disappointing.
Yeah.
But I appreciated the opportunity to speak with one of your personnel there. Um, does it look like that position might be coming back to Atlanta or the Lewiston or the areas up here in northern Michigan?
The great thing about CFCU is that we are growing. So we did reevaluate some of our positions for the remainder of 2023. And at this point had to eliminate just some of the openings, nothing that we had already filled. In fact, that's one thing I can brag about here, being here for as long as I have and being here even prior to the last 6.5 years. We've never had to lay anybody off, furlough, between COVID, between some of our more recession type of periods. So nothing has been eliminated that was already an established position, but unfortunately, yes, it was some of our positions that we did have available within the last, it's been since probably February, March. So like I said, the good thing is we continue to grow and expand. I would assume that these positions would come back available here, anytime within the next 6 months or so. I would hope for that. As Kaylee will talk about in a little bit, we do have a fabulous internal growth program here at Community Financial. So we would hope to be able to promote from within, which would then in turn create openings within our branches for those member experience rep positions too. So I'm really happy you applied. I'm glad you said something. I'll be able to follow up with you as time goes on and that position opens back up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Okay, so just kind of a good segue there going into job opportunities. So I know before I worked here, I came from a totally different industry. So when you think of financial institutions, you might think of just the positions of being a bank teller or maybe a financial advisor, but that's not the only positions that we have open at all times, right? So um, just to list some examples of different departments that we have openings in at times. We have a total rewards department, lending, collections. We have a legal team, marketing. I know that's a super fun team to be a part of. Information security and IT, just to name a few. So um, I know Julie mentioned earlier that she and we actually do work remote most of the time. I would say 90% of the time. I would say most of our positions, they do take more of a remote or hybrid approach. So working from home, but you can always go into the office. Like Julie mentioned before, headquarters is in downtown Plymouth. I know our team, we typically like to go into the office just to collaborate and work together about once a month, but sometimes I like to go in a little bit more often than that. So um, I am going to attempt to change my screen share. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute just to share my screen to kind of show you our career website and how to navigate that. So let me know when you can see my new screen.
We
Okay,
can see it.
all good. So before I get into this, I do want to point out this little logo in the corner just to mention it. We are going through a little bit of a rebrand right now. We're not changing anything about what the organization does, but we do have a new logo and new colors. So if you see any new signage, it is still Community Financial, but just wanted to point that out. So we're super excited about that. It actually just got announced this week. So but this is our careers page. So if you go to cfcu.org, it'll take you to the main page. Right now I am on the careers tab. So this is what it will look like. And if you scroll down here and click on view open positions, it will open another tab that looks something like this. Did it change screens? Change tabs? Okay. So this is what it will look like. If you click this, it'll just scroll you to the bottom of the page. Here are some of the cool, fun things that we've been doing this year. This was at the opening of the playground branch that Julie mentioned. So if you scroll down here, these are the current openings that we have. So AVP of Finance, Facilities Tech, future internships, which I'll talk a little bit more in detail about that one, and Senior Mortgage Loan Officer. So we have this really cool button right here too to register your interest. So if you don't see something that you're exactly interested in right now, you can apply to our talent pipeline. So that way we have your, contact information and resume on file. We will have our recruiter reach out to you to gauge your interest and talk a little bit more about maybe what we have coming in the next couple of months to share some information about that. So I'll go back to my PowerPoint in a second, but what this future internships posting is we have this posted because we are really amping up our internship program. And we will have probably about 5 or 6 internships hopefully posted within like the next couple weeks here. So if you are interested in an internship, but maybe you don't see one that isn't exactly in the field that you're studying or want to learn more about, you can definitely apply here and we can keep your information on file, kind of like that talent pipeline. But when we do get an influx of interest in a certain area, we do notify that hiring manager to let them know, and maybe they can consider bringing an intern on board. So I'm gonna change back to my PowerPoint here. I'm sorry, I'm not skilled in changing. I have to stop sharing and then share again. So let me know when you can see my PowerPoint again. Okay. All right. All right. So just to go in a little bit more detail about internships, because we're super excited about amping up this program. The internships that we do have, they do last 12 weeks long with a possible extension. So depending on if the intern is available and the hiring manager has the bandwidth to do that, we can extend the internship. They are 20 hours a week, so it is part-time. They are super flexible with your scheduling. So if it's during a time when you're taking classes, they definitely work around your school schedule. Or if it's during the summer, I know they're super flexible with your scheduling. So some examples of some previous interns that we've had or have right now. We've had marketing intern, a computer programmer, learning and development, experience team, that's involved in the branches. That's what we refer to as our branch team, if I say that right. But
Yeah,
um,
like our tellers and personal bankers and such, but yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yep. So I know I just mentioned a couple minutes ago that we do have about 5 or 6 internships that should hopefully be posted here within the next couple weeks. We're hoping to fill them for the fall semester. We should have a couple of interns on our impact team. So that would be working with community relations, working with our nonprofit and volunteer programs, working with our student-run credit unions, stuff like that. We will have a learning and development intern, culture and belonging, and then a business deposit development. So hoping to get those posted within the next couple weeks. So, all right.
Haley?
Yep.
Cheryl asked, can a person that already graduated be eligible for an internship?
So Julie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you have to be enrolled in schooling or have had to within like the last 6 months. I think that's what it is.
Yes, I will pull it up here while you can continue the presentation while I find it. But yes, you do have to be either currently enrolled, and I will check on the graduation requirements if there's
Okay, great, because I know we have a couple alum.
Okay.
I know we have a couple alumni on here, so I thought, well, I may, if they want to get their foot in the door, that might be a good way to do it.
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I'll double check.
Awesome. All right. Good question that I probably should have knew the exact answer to. All right. So some organizational opportunities with our name, Community Financial. We are very involved in the community. I know it's cliche, but we do have a CEO. She's very progressive, very involved, she's very passionate about stuff like this. So we have things like community involvement. Every team member does get 8 hours of paid volunteer time. So you can use that for a whole day or break it up into a couple hours over a time period. But we always have volunteer opportunities posted on our intranet that you can sign up for. Or if there is an organization that you're super passionate about, you can definitely use that volunteer time towards that as well. So that is super cool. We also have some organizational development and career pathing programs. So we do have a mentor program. I believe that one lasts a little bit longer than the Share Your Shoes. The mentor program is where you are paired up with a mentor and you have frequent meetings for them, to mentor you. And then Share Your Shoes. That is for if, you are interested in a specific role within the organization or maybe a department to learn a little bit more about what they do. You share your shoes with someone in that role or department. So you spend half of a day with them, just kind of shadowing them, asking them questions to learn more about their day in and out. So I know I've participated in that before on someone shadowing me before. It was super cool and you get to learn a little bit about them as well. So that's super fun. And then we do have some community resource groups. I know other organizations might refer to them as employee resource groups, but we refer to them as community resource groups. So we do have a caregiver group. We do have an LGBTQ plus group. We do also have a running club that I don't participate in. I probably should, but I know they are working on getting different types of clubs started, and they're looking to some suggestions. So if you were here and you wanted to start a club and you're super passionate about it, I know they are looking to start some more. So I'm excited about that. Oops.
We do have a book club too, and that's really exciting. They recently, just last week, had the author of one of the books attend the Zoom discussion around the book. So it was really cool to have her there and hear a little bit more of the background behind the book as well. So they pick books every month, which is fun too.
Yeah. I forgot about that one. I really need to start reading and running more.
And run, I need to run.
And then we do have these things called Yay Days. They used to be called Thursdays. They would happen on Thursdays in a month, but we're changing them to Yay Days. So it's just some examples of things that we've done. This is where it's usually done at our Plymouth headquarters or up north, I believe Atlanta is the headquarters up there. Is that right, Julie? So if they do one up there, it'll be at the Atlanta branch. But we've had therapy dogs come in, 15-minute massages. I'm sad that I missed that one. We've had blanket making, and we donated those blankets. We also had I know in February we did a Super Bowl cook-off. So for the Super Bowl, you could bring in a soup, and we did a contest, and our manager actually won, and he got a big old ring to be the Super Bowl champ. So that was super fun. So lots of opportunities to get involved with the organization. And then I also wanted to include some information about benefits on here, just because I know that's super important to a lot of people. We do have a really great 401k program. We actually match up to 10% dollar for dollar. So super generous. I know it's something I definitely take advantage of. We have really great reps through our vendor that we use. You can schedule meetings with them and talk about things. They've got super cool tools on there that you can take advantage of. Very, very good information, and something definitely to contribute to. And then I would say we have a pretty generous PTO plan as well. So every team member does get 4 weeks of PTO. We also just announced new time off programs, caregiver time off. So that's 10 additional paid days separate from your personal time off. So if you have someone in your family who needs assistance, you can use that time for that. We also have family event time off. So that's an additional 5 days separate from your PTO. That's for things like if your child has a baseball tournament that is out of town and you need to attend that, or maybe you have a family reunion that you'd like to go to. You can definitely use that time for that. Like I know I used it. My brother just moved to Colorado, so I took some time and helped him move. So that was super exciting. We also do have a Relentless Care Reward program. Every team member is eligible for this. It sort of works like a gain share. So depending on the success of the organization, every team member does get a bonus of their base salary, depending on the success of the organization for the year. So definitely good motivation to do well in your department as well. So any questions so far? I know I just went over a lot of information as well. Okay. Feel free to interrupt me if you think of one.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I just want to ask about the internship program. I am in school now. I'm not doing my background's finance economics, but this program is a history program. Does that preclude me from getting into an internship program that's in the financial service industry?
Nope.
No.
Okay, I just wanted to mention. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, no problem.
I did mention in the chat that, yeah, the guidelines say that you either must be currently enrolled or have graduated within the last 6 months. So.
Okay, very good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you are interested in potentially, applying to a future internship, be sure to put an application into the future internships application. Julie, I don't know if you maybe want to drop the link in there so people can have the direct link to apply.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that way we can have your contact information. So But just some other upcoming lunch and learns we do have scheduled with Walsh here that I wanted to mention. We do have an event on August 9th coming up here for a resume review. So if you're interested in that, I would highly encourage registering for that. You'll get to meet with a member of our talent acquisition team. If you don't have a resume, we can help you build one. If you do have one, we'll give you some tips to make it stand out. So I would encourage you to register for that one. And then we also do have an event for mock interviews on August 23rd. So kind of the same situation, just working on your interview skills. So you'll meet with a member of our team and we will ask you a couple questions, help you get over those nerves and give you some on the spot feedback. So um, if you're interested in one of those or both of them, just reach out to Walsh Career Services and they can schedule you a time slot. All right. So that is all that I have prepared. Um, does anybody have any questions?
Okay, so I'm just going to jump in there regarding the August 9th and the August 23rd events. So with both of those events, I am putting them in the chat now. So if you haven't seen them, or you did, but for whatever reason you've missed it, you can't recall where it came from, I did just put both sessions in there. The first one being the resume review. So what'll happen is when you go to register for that August 9th session, it'll actually ask you to attach your resume at that time. And then we can go ahead and send that over to the community financial team. And then that way they're prepared with your resume, you're prepared, everyone's got the information come time for those resume and interview sessions. So registrations are in the chat, but of course you can always check Walsh Career Link's event page as well. That information is on there to get registered. And then just a note for when you do register, you won't get a Zoom link immediately like you typically do for a lunch and learn. What'll happen is when we kind of get closer to that date, we'll see how many sessions we have and then schedule accordingly from there. So that'll kind of help the community financial team get prepared for you. And we will get those dates out to you based on your first and second preferences.
Yeah, we are super excited about those two sessions. I know I was telling the Walsh team and Julie that as excited as we would be for you to apply to a position with us, it's definitely good timing with the new fall semester coming up with job fairs and stuff like that. So definitely good practice.
Haley, would they have any preparation to do prior to, especially on the interviewing one? Is it going to be behavior-based questions? Would you expect them to have anything prepared?
Not necessarily, no. It will probably just be a couple questions, just general questions that we'll ask them. Nothing like super specific about a specific position. So yeah, I would just say bring yourself and yeah.
This is such a great opportunity because, you really do need practice on that, especially on the interviewing, and it's not intimidating and they'll give you some honest feedback and you're not just hearing it from career services, you're hearing it from an employer. And
Yeah.
same with the resume review, So I hope I'll take advantage of it.
I know for some reason, I don't know why, but I tend to get more nervous over a virtual interview because it's so quiet and you can't see what they're doing. So I like to practice over Zoom and stuff because it helps beat the nerves. And then I feel like if you're in person, you're even less nervous. So that could just be me though. I don't know.
Virtual definitely presents a different challenge when it comes to interviewing.
Yeah.
One of the things I did want to follow up on and ask is when you talked about the events that you have or the different clubs that you have going on, I know you mentioned Plymouth kind of being like your main potential location. When you put on those different events or those different clubs, is that something that is across the board for every location where, like, for example, with the Super Bowl days, is it every location kind of does those events separately, or they travel to that one location? Or do they move around to different locations
They'll
through?
move around. Different events
Okay.
will be at different locations. So for instance, the Super Bowl was at the Plymouth headquarters just because we expected needing a larger space for people to be able to bring in their crock pots or whatever that may be, and a quieter space too. We have the lower level and the upper level in the Plymouth branch where it's not member based. But we do have, that's why we changed it to yay days instead of Thursdays, so they could fall on different days, giving different team members opportunities to come in case, Thursdays, they didn't work Thursdays or something like that. And then we do travel around to the branches as well. So our CEO Tansley will go and have, her famous grilled cheese days, and she'll have a Northfield day, and she'll be at the Northfield branch, and they'll take, half the afternoon to set up in the break room or outside and have the fun there. I believe they have been able to do that too with the therapy dogs. And otherwise, we do have been considering it paid time, since it's, team member involvement and connection, which would take care of if the branch could accommodate the team member traveling to Plymouth or up north. If it's Gaylord is real close together, but Atlanta, Hillman, and Lewiston sometimes will travel back and forth to each other as well. Definitely, we like to keep opportunities available for all team members to be able to participate.
And then just to follow up on that too, because I know schedule is always a big question that's asked. Do you have a flexible schedule? Is it a strict 8 to 4:30? Is it 37 and a half hours, 40? What does schedule look like?
Yeah, for our experienced team, since they do need to be available branch hours, our branches are available, open Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5. Fridays we're open 9 to 6. And then Saturdays here in the southern branches are 9 until 1. And then up north, 9 until noon. So if you were coming in our experienced team working in the branches, it would be roughly 37 and a half hours per week, because you would rotate your Saturdays. And since those are shorter days, you would get Sunday and another day off during the week, which then kind of takes you to 37 and a half. Otherwise, Monday through Friday, 40 hours. As Kaylee mentioned, us back office team members who work a more remote or hybrid schedule, we have a lot of flexibility to most of our positions. We're typically like to be available during core hours, just because if our branch team needs us, we're available to them. But typically, Kaylee and our team, some of the teams we work with behind the scenes work either 8 to 5, 9 to 6, 8:30 to 5:30, depending on if you take a half-hour lunch, an hour lunch. Definitely flexibility. One day I had to work 10 hours because we were doing a early morning presentation, and then we had to travel. So the next day, I didn't punch it until 10. A lot of flexibility for sure.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other final questions? What I will do is, I'll actually, if it's okay, I can put my email in the chat. If anybody has any specific CFCU questions, just feel free to send them my way. But thank you, for everyone joining today. I'm hoping to see you all at the resume review and the mock interviews.